What stopped you from committing suicide? My corgi. Her name was Nugget. I adopted her 6 months after moving out of my parents' house. She was a breeder in an abusive puppy mill for 4 years, and then, minus a few steps of explanation, she came to live with me. You have to understand, this doggo was my daughter. She kept me company, and many days was the only reason I had to get out of bed. She could read my mood like a book, and on my darkest days, would snuggle as close as she could with me, until she forced me out of bed. There were so many of those days, that I would wake up and just want to die. The only reason I didn't, was because I needed to know, that someone would be there for Nugget, and it seemed she chose me. God, I miss her so much. So very much every day. When I was a teenager, the idea that my life could drastically change for the better as soon as I got out of my shithole podunk hometown and went to college. It did. When I was suffering through a combination of postpartum depression, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, before I knew what they were and was just thinking I was some horrific psychopath instead, it was the idea of forcing my wife to find my body and my kid having to grow up without a father. He's 9 now and every day I'm blown away at how amazing he is, as is his younger sister. I purposely overdosed on Excedrin pills and my aunt found me laying in bed holding onto my stomach and crying. I accidentally left the bottle within her sight, and she noticed that the Excedrin bottle was empty when it was previously full. She took me to the hospital, and they took me in right away. I guess my vitals were alarming. It wasn't until I was laying in the hospital bed in pain that I realized I didn't want to die, I just wanted to feel loved and cared for. I was grieving my brother's death at the time, and my siblings were taken into foster care. I felt alone and helpless. I thought that ending my life would end the pain I was feeling. I'm so glad my aunt saved my life. Turns out that I just needed somebody. Our cats. I need to be alive to work so I can buy them food. Was never particularly close to doing it, but did evaluate it when found in a dark and depressed moment in my life. I was just scared of ceasing to exist and especially having my mum dealt with the aftermath. Also felt bad for whoever would have found my deceased body in the hotel room or wherever. I realized the love I have for the people I care about outweighs the hate I have for myself. As long as I love them more than I hate myself, that's enough to keep going. Hanging/strangulation feels quite uncomfortable and my discomfort outweighed my will to die. After that, I found instructions on painless ways, but that file is on my old PC that hasn't been powered on since I built my new one. I still think about that file every couple of weeks, but I don't want to cause my loved ones sadness because I couldn't handle mine. So I'm still here. Knowing that if I died, my parents wouldn't keep my cats and they'd probably live the rest of their lives in a shelter. They're my little buddies, they deserve the best life and I can give them that if I stay alive. Didn't want to disappoint the people that care about me, especially my 3 kids. Sounds extremely stupid and cliche, but I kept thinking how many people would be sad if I killed myself. I then found Screamo and Deathcore and listened to that when dark thoughts are flooding my brain, and honestly it works like a fucking charm. Funny thing too, I also don't mind doing chores when I listen to that music too. Maybe posting something here will hurt me in the long run if anybody ever knows me personally, but I feel the need to share my 2 cents. While I have never actually tried to kill myself, the thought has passed into my mind a few times. My main realization that stopped me was, there is a difference between being depressed and just not being happy. And knowing that makes a difference. You can be miserable, unhappy, and downright in the dump, but as long as you realize that it's just one day, and nothing more, you can break that cycle of being in the muck. When you feel desperate, you will do anything in the attempt to crave positive feedback or attention, a reason to continue on. And if you lack one, you tend to consider the option to just end the cycle. That's what happens when you are depressed. You lose hope. You lose direction. Take a moment to think about if you really are depressed. Most of the time, you can just turn that depression into a simple question. Are you just not happy? Think about yourself. Not your situation. Not the outside world. Just you. Think about what you want to do to make you happy now. Put some of your big problems away and make them smaller problems. When they are small compared to you being happy, you will feel better. A friend of mine told me about making my problems smaller. They may seem big, but they don't really matter to me. Find something to make you happy and deal with your small problems when you are ready. It takes time. And most people have plenty of time. I've never actually truly gone to where I'm about to actively do the act, but damn have I thought of it sometimes. It's either, that's a really stupid thing to kill myself over, or, this is the one fucking chance I get here, may as well make it worth it. Consciousness and sentience has blessed me. As said, only thoughts. Knowing my dad would think of me as a coward and not wanting to traumatize whoever found me. Too lazy to follow through. It still crosses my mind all the time, and my self-confidence dwindles more each day because I refuse to take care of basic hygiene or other medical issues. Chipped a tooth pretty bad a week ago and refused to see a dentist as I've never been to one in my life, very front bottom tooth, so I just haven't even tried smiling recently. My first attempt, not being successful with electrocuting myself. My second attempt having an epiphany while I was overdosing that I had so much to live for. So I crawled my way to the toilet and gagged myself to vomit. I then called the 911 and just told them that I needed help as I couldn't think or remember much in the moment. Fortunately, the first responders. I'm very grateful that I wasn't successful either attempt. After a lot of hard work, self-reflection, and good counseling, things turned around and got much better. My dad. Young teen, and the night I planned it so everyone was asleep and less chance to walk in and stop it, but that day my dad put time in his busy schedule to hang out. Then the next day, and the next, and here I am. I'm pretty sure he suspected what I was about to do. He had been checking up on me a lot before that day, and I didn't hide that I was extra miserable. The only thing that kept me here left me yesterday, so I'm revisiting my options. Hormone replacement therapy and society's increased trans acceptance. One of my friends is convinced she won't make it to 30. I want to stick around long enough and keep in touch with her to prove that she can, and to know if she did. We're the same age, so if she makes it to 30, hopefully I will too. Tried to drown myself. While doing it, I somehow thought about how it would affect my parents, and that's when I decided to not do it. Now, it's been a year and a half, and I'm glad I chose to go on and face my fears. The thought of my kids thinking how selfish of me to give up on life and leave them behind without fighting one more day. They still don't know they saved me. I was 14 years old and couldn't follow through with it. I was too scared of it, but I wanted to do it so bad. Now I'm 19 years old and have an awesome little brother and a wonderful girl with me that's been by my side through everything. She helped me with self-harm as well. Back then I couldn't even imagine being in this position. I am so thankful for everything that's happened since then. The good and the bad things from which I've learned from. To anyone who's reading this, know that there's something waiting to happen that will change everything 360 degrees and upside down and back up again. Know that you are loved by someone. I love you. Wanted to take pills one day. My mom apparently had a gut feeling because the pills that we had that I could actually odd on, did a lot of research, was missing, had a breakdown right after, and I actually feel better. Guess that breakdown got some pent-up emotions out. Heard from the lady who my mom works with yesterday that my mom is afraid that I might kill myself, so yeah, guess she half a gut feeling and saved me unknowingly. My girlfriend. My mom complained that she'd have to pay for my funeral, which would be expensive. Deleted. TBH, I don't know, it's supposed to be on my birthday. I got hours alone where I could have done it. I was feeling numb all day. I didn't have any kind of joy to give me an excuse to stay another day, just a promise to my sister and mother who I don't like. Now I'm not feeling better either. I don't have a plan or motivation to do anything. If I take my time to think, I get nervous until I end up having panic attacks. Unless is it about ache, it gaff about any family member or friend BCS, I don't have contact with them, and like I said, I don't have any reason to stay, at least not one that I mind. Weird enough, I've been like this from a lot of time. I had my childhood and I can't remember the exact moment where it switched up, but then I would spend most of the time in bed, sleeping, trying to not be awake. No passion for anything, no dreams, no goals, no hobbies. So, nothing stopped me, and it is still a possibility. I just have to feel a little bit more reckless and just stab myself. Don't mind me, I'm drunk. Garlic bread is pretty cool, so yeah.